What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Eli the Rebel. Welcome to this is probably gonna be the last episode of the Coaching Carousel Dynasty before I go on my trip. It's gonna be in a very emotional sequence right here. This is we're gonna send off everyone from this team, because if you haven't seen the last episode, top right corner iCard, we picked a new school, which I'm going to show momentarily. But first, we're going to send off, our seniors and all other major starting players and things like that. Starting with Albert Peterson. Now, the reason why I'm using this screen instead of the actual, graduation screen, they won't show you they will only show you like 3 years of playing. They will never show you the first actual year they actually, play. So we redshirted Albert Peterson. This was a 2-star wide receiver initially from Winter Haven, Florida. But for some reason he was like an 80 overall quarterback. So he was actually the same overall as Marcus Watson at the time of his recruitment. So I did the position change after redshirting him freshman year, then made him the starter over Marcus Watson, just because I like using players that I recruited myself as much as possible. And for the most part, like Reggie Patterson, he had the issue of 25 touchdowns to 36 interceptions, very erratic 2012 season, but he threw for 2,641 yards. That's actually pretty good. People think that 3,000 is a standard for starting quarterbacks. That's not the case. It's not the case. He also ran for 577 yards for 2 touchdowns, which was super nice. Then we'll go back to the sophomore season really quickly. Again, threw the same amount pretty much as his freshman year, but 26 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. That's what I expect Albert Peterson to do every single time, and he did just that. In terms of rushing, the rushing numbers went down that year, 0 touchdowns, but then a resurgence in his junior year, 581 on the ground with 7 rushing touchdowns. And then in the air, he threw for 4,006 yards, 42 touchdowns, 27 INTs. Dude was a gunslinger. But then he got hurt a little bit in the beginning of his senior season. But luckily, we were able to play with him one last time, finally beating Oklahoma. Ended up throwing for 3,000 yards, 38 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, and then rushing the ball, 519 on the ground, with a 6.6 rushing average with 5 touchdowns. So and then here are the awards that he's won. He was a 2012 freshman All-American, first team All-Big East in 2014, only a second team his senior season, but I will miss him a lot. But and then Robert Young actually did pretty well as a backup. Threw for almost 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Did he run the ball? Yeah, he ran for 106 yards and got a touchdown on the ground. So he's going to be backing up Mike Harrell next season, which is, it's not a big drop off for USF with Albert Peterson graduating and things like that. Halfback, Marcus McCall transferred. This was actually Malcolm Brown when I looked up these vitals. He's the same size and also from Texas and everything. That 2011 is his year with Texas. Not Texas, Oklahoma in this save. It was with Oklahoma. We didn't beat Oklahoma until 2015. Played them 2013 and 14. Lost both times. I still think we should have won in 2014, but glad that we did our thing in 2015. Did not run for 1,000 yards in any of the 3 seasons, unfortunately. But his receiving numbers became gradually better over time, which is good in my book.
He's also graduates with a 99 overall, just like Albert Peterson, and he was only second team All Big East his first year with the team and his last year with the team. Yeah, obviously 2014 wasn't a strong year for him. He didn't even get 10 rushing touchdowns on the season. That might be why he didn't make the team that season. His backup, Ben Stewart, this was actually a walk-on strong safety when we first got him, but then I noticed how he had like a really high carrying stat, so moved him over to halfback. He was doing his thing. Also made second Big East second team in 2015, simply because like Albert Peterson, Marcus McCall was dealing with an injury bug, so we saw a lot of Ben Stewart as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether Ben Stewart will stick around and start next season, or they'll have Chris Jones, the halfback that we recruited in the regular season. We'll see if he will be starting in this spot next season. Fullback, Taylor Brown will be coming back. Again, he was solid. He wasn't Tony Bobo good, but for the most part, he does his thing. He does his thing. Larry Chavez actually played a little bit his redshirt freshman year. This was the only guy that we got from recruiting last season. So it's nice to see Larry Chavez, actually getting some stats for once. The wide receiver room. Now this is interesting because look at this. Lionel Boyd got 1,000 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns, right? But he was second team All Big East, right? He was first team last season and then went down to second team. But then Marcus Coker did not have 1,000 yards receiving, but he had 13 touchdowns, and he's first team All Big East. So I don't understand that logic, but we're gonna rock with it. Lionel Boyd has been super solid. This was actually a halfback, but he requested number 15, and I wanted him to move to wide receiver anyway, simply because I knew Marcus McCall was going to be able to play in 2013. So, I mean, you look at the numbers here, like, this guy has just been a walking, go-to target for Albert Peterson from the moment he stepped on campus, and that's really good. Joe Beard in the slot was honestly spectacular, especially that 2014 season. Look at that, 861 yards, 8 touchdowns. No accolades to see here, but he looks like he's going to be an outside guy next season, which is really good. Or they might keep all three, who knows. We'll see how the spring game goes for them. Joe Anderson was a 5-star receiver from Easley, South Carolina that we recruited. At wide receiver 4, he did his thing. You know what I mean? So he'll gradually get to that level. John Woods was our bubble screen guy. Was not as good as, let's say, Tommy Levine. Unfortunately, I mean, Tommy Levine got a touchdown at least, from bubble screens alone. Elgin Watkins moved back to wide receiver, so that's why his stats aren't that great. He did not win an award as a tight end, so that's interesting. Carlos Pittman was so good 2013 and 2014 as a wide receiver for he was absolutely phenomenal in game for us. I'm telling you, man, the wide receiver 3s and 4s were doing some damage vertically for sure. So I'm gonna miss them for sure when it's all said and done. Here's Brett Reynolds, who we moved over from wide receiver. So this was Chris Conley, but when he was recruited to Clemson, he was like a half. They put him as a halfback. Don't ask me why that happened. In 2014, he was a wide receiver too, with Lionel Boyd being our X receiver. Then we saw him take a dip in receiving yards simply because he moved to tight end, but still had 6 touchdowns, and that was good enough for him to graduate, as a second team All Big East member at the tight end position. Now we're gonna have 3 tight ends. When I graduate, USF will have. When I go over to my new team, James Schmidt, Eric Seymour, Bryce Berry, that will be your tight end room. Which I'm perfectly fine with. James Schmidt is actually interesting because we recruited him as a quarterback. Look at this: 82 throw power, 68 throwing accuracy. But I noticed that he had high catching and stuff like that. Like, this is a tall, scrambling QB. I don't know what star prestige he was. A 4, maybe a 3, but I saw him as a better I saw him as a better, in the catching the ball as opposed to throwing the ball, because at the time, Albert Peterson was our guy. Moving on to the offensive line. So Chris Watson is going to be graduating. He graduates as a 2015 second team All Big East member. Kevin Johnson, waste man, our worst offensive lineman easily, in my opinion. He's going to come back for his senior year, most likely. Steve Bates, a freshman right tackle, second team All Big East. So, way to step up. Way to live up to the hype, because he wanted to be a starter. I was like, you know what? Put you at right tackle. I don't like Kevin Johnson in that spot, so be my guest. And he was really good. Now, we're gonna all these guys. Yeah, we redshirted Billy White and Darren Campbell. As you can see here, Andriano's also going to be graduating as well, along with Chris Watson. Moving on to guards, Cornelius Parks, number 96. That was our player promise with him. He graduates as a second team All Big East member, with Mike Williams from Rainbow City, Alabama, graduating. But don't worry, we'll have another Mike Williams at guard from New Jersey coming in to replace this Mike Williams. And he is actually a Big East first team member. He graduates as a Big East first team member, which is really good. And then Michael Levine, we were unable to redshirt him due to the lack of guards. But, he's going to, hopefully he can start alongside Cornelius Parks. We'll see. Joe Wynn was recruited in season along with Chris Watson, but he got in trouble a lot. But he had a 2013 second team All Big East selection, so that was his sophomore year. He got selected to that team, which was really cool. Clint Cook is going to take over the starting role moving forward, with Don Morse backing him up. He's only a 65 overall right now, but with the spring training, I could see him, be a 70 and things like that. On the defensive side of the ball, this is Joe Evans, who used to be an outside linebacker. As you can see here, in 2013, he was an outside linebacker, had a couple picks, moved up to starting defensive end, has 20-plus tackles now. On top of that, the reason why I moved him over to defensive end, he was a 68 speed on the edge. I didn't like that, so I moved him to defensive end. He's been, perfectly fine there on that side. Ryan Cummings is going to be graduating. He was starting alongside Joe Evans. Had a really good senior season to cap off. Love to see that. Our starting defensive tackles are going to be the same. These guys, Chris Culberson is going to be number 1 with Patrick Bentley behind. And Patrick Bentley was our defensive captain, so he's going to be a defensive captain next season as well. Once I officially leave this team and move on to a new job. Curtis Coley came from Alabama, aka Kentrell Brothers, came from Alabama. Finally got to play collegiate football with us. 61 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 interception, 5 forced fumbles. 5 forced fumbles, and became second team All Big East because of that. So nice. It's nice to see that Bama's backups are still able to play D1 football in other places. Man, you love to see that. This was our 5-star outside linebacker. 69 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 INT, 2 forced fumbles for Terrence Alexander out of Downey, California. He's going to be the star, the impact player once Curtis Coley graduates, most likely. We have Jordan Moore coming in next season. Will Charles has been relegated to the backup role, but 14 tackles, 3 INTs for a backup outside linebacker. That's really, really good. And then Eric Roberson was our starter from humble beginnings. Had a really good 2013 and 2014. Very similar numbers there. But once we recruited, Terrence Alexander, and then we got Curtis Coley through the transfer portal, he got relegated. So it'll be interesting to see whether he stays on this team or transfers out. Because if it was me, I would transfer to another program. Maybe a smaller program than USF, in my opinion. Who knows? Michael White's going to be playing middle linebacker next season, but I really like the job Clay Daniels did. His freshman year was very good. I'm surprised he was a freshman All-American, second team All-Big East. Then his numbers went down a little bit. Went from 60 tackles to 42 tackles, but also got 5 sacks, 2 INTs, 1 forced fumble. So if worse comes to worse, you might see USF become a 3-4 team. Who knows? Joe Green was initially recruited as a strong safety, but we just didn't have enough middle linebackers, so I moved Joe Green over to middle linebacker right away before the game just started putting walk-ons in those spots. He's also from Winter Haven, Florida, just like Albert Peterson. 13 tackles his junior year, so hopefully he can get like 20 plus his senior season. Next season, corner. Tom Moan is gonna hopefully come back for his senior season. Who knows? He was second team All Big East this season, and I think it's because he has 5 interceptions this season as opposed to the 3 he had in 2014 and 13. Brent Sutton was Big East first team this season. He was originally a wide receiver, then we redshirted him so we could move him over to corner. After some, summer training, we got his tackle rating up to a 65. Second team All Big East last season, and then first team All Big East this season. The tackle numbers went down, but his INTs went up by 1. So I think his junior redshirt season was better in my opinion, but again, I don't make up these things. As we see Ryan Vincent here also getting first team All Big East for his role in the nickel spot. Went up from 14 tackles from last season to 32 with 2 INTs and 2 forced fumbles on top of that. Love to see our nickel guys doing well. If you remember the seasons, a couple seasons back, we had Justin McCoy as our nickel corner back in those days with Austin Green and Anthony McCollum. Only the OGs remember that. Al Wilson, when we moved him over from wide receiver, he had 4 tackles, but he had a sack and an INT. So he can play. He can play this position well. Same with Charlie Johnson. These two are going to be interchangeable, like, dime or corner pieces, you could say. Quentin Salas was starting as a freshman, had 21 tackles on the year with 6 PBUs. No awards for him. He's going to grow more and more. Jason Moore had 9 tackles, 2 INTs. This is our backup free safety. So it's nice that he was able to get some playing time. He started out as a 65 overall. Did some summer training to get him to like a 70. And now he's going into, the offseason as a 74. And then with summer training, hopefully he can get to like 78, 80 range. That would be really nice. We redshirted Cedric Johnson because we had these two strong safeties right here. So Jason Folks, 22 tackles, 3 INTs, 2 forced fumbles, no awards here. And then backing him up was Josh Baker with 15 tackles, with 2 PBUs. So that was very. So I have faith. You could start either one of them. It's potato, but I would say Jason Folks if I were to stay around, because that 87 awareness helps a lot, actually. Simply because I'm not using Jason Folks, at least. Caleb Beck will be eligible to play next season, and we're still not sure if Reggie Harris is gonna go to the draft or stay for his senior season. These guys are literally the same player. So it's just up to, whether Reggie Harris, graduates and things like that. I will say really quickly, Dane Daniels, you were doing so well 2014. You were ready to win the Groza and everything, and then you just choked it away. But at least you finished second team All Big East that season. Thank the Lord. Marvin Dixon, however, is going into his senior season as a second team All Big East punter. He's been second team back-to-back years. Love to see that. Donnie Harper, does he have higher kick power? He does. You might see Donnie Harper start over Marvin. Who knows? We shall see. And that's every single relevant USF player up to this point, man. So everyone is staying, which is actually something that I was not expecting. Oh wow, they actually show you all. Was it all 4 years? Yeah. They don't show you the 5th year. Yeah, they don't show you the very first year. Yeah. See. Good thing I did that. Intro screen for y'all. But we're gonna go right into recruiting, and again. But if you don't want to be spoiled as to what team we're going to, I'm going to put another iCard right here. It's the same one as from when I was in the beginning, okay? Just click this iCard right here, okay? That way you don't, if you want to, watch the episode before, there you go. You know what I mean? But this program is very, without spoiling anything, this is a 5-star program, just like USF, but it's a 6-star academic program. That's the difference. That's the main difference between USF and this program. And the other thing that intrigued me was, well, obviously it's in because Big East is considered a Group of 5 conference. I'm now in a Power 5 conference, and the third and final reason is we're gonna get to use a quarterback that I tried to get to USF, but it never happened. And now now he's gonna come back for his senior year. So the goal of now taking over this new position is to win the national championship. Now, the goals that they had me for this program was finish in the top 10 and play in a January bowl and win the conference, right? The road to the national championship, right, in the Power 5, the Power 5 being Big 12, Big 10, SEC, ACC, and it's Pac-10 in this game. It's referred to as Pac-12 now, and it's almost dying. The road to the national championship is significantly easier in a Power 5 as opposed to a Group of 5. Right? Because in the Group of 5, if you go undefeated in the Group of 5, you got to win your major bowl game first, and then be undefeated again, just to be a 2 seed. Just to be a 2 seed. But we're here now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our new program. This is the main reason why I took this job over the Utah job. We tried to get Blake Marquardt to USF. Didn't happen. Committed to Penn State instead. Then I saw that Penn State was offering this job, and I also saw that Blake Marquardt was coming back, and I took it and ran. I look at his stats right here. He plays a lot similarly to Albert Peterson, which makes sense. And hopefully, he'll be the prodigal son that will lead us to the national championship. We also have other pieces on this offense as well. I'm actually going to incorporate, formation subs for this. I think having Greg Garcia and Ryan Doucette, rather than having, Greg Garcia take all the carries, I'm just going to have one of them be shotgun exclusive and the other one, do everything else, goal line, I form, etc. and things like that. Fullback, we're gonna hopefully either recruit someone here or move a halfback over. Wide receiver room, pretty stacked, and hopefully we can move a couple of these guys over to the defensive side of the ball. Tight ends, I would love to move a third. I would love to have a third. If not, we'll move one wide receiver over, which is perfectly fine. This is my area of concern going into recruiting. It's dry. It's dry here. I would like to recruit multiple linemen if possible. And then what I would do with the extra linemen, and with the exception of center, is redshirt them, obviously. Defensive end looks good. I would need one defensive tackle, if not two. Otherwise, we have to move over to a 3-4. Things like that. I like the outside linebacker room. Middle linebacker room, also good. If I end up getting more middle linebackers, we could make it a 3-4. Corners, again, this looks shallow, but we're probably going to move at least one. I always find a way to move one wide receiver over to the corner room anyway. Free safety looks good. Need a backup strong safety if possible. We have no punter. So, alright, as expected, nobody committed anywhere for week 1. The recruiting budget so the recruiting, training, and discipline in order was 34, 33, 33. However, I didn't get a lot of points to work with, but I am getting a lot of points this week. I get the most points in week 2, so I'm going to use some of them to, hopefully low lock some guys, which I'm going to do right now, actually. Low locking is just simply going to all prospects, and I just look for this red arrow right here, and then all I have to do is hit scout, and then the arrow will change. So the only reason I'm not going to use it on Marcus Hartman from California is because it's 9 points. I'm going to save my points and use them on 6s and 3s for the most part, unless it's literally the only player that was interested in week 1. So fortunately, you guys don't have to sit through all that. So I'll see y'all when week 2 commits come in. Alright, for week 2, we have 4 commits. We're going to start off with Chad Sherman, an elite. This is a 5-star quarterback. Number 12, so not elite 11. I had to stop myself. 6'3", 216, runs a 4.84, C+ field awareness, A+ arm strength, B pass accuracy, 265 bench, 385 squat, average potential, good discipline, and also Mr. Football in Pennsylvania. From Indiana, Pennsylvania. Mark Sampson, a free safety from Waukesha, Wisconsin, 6 feet 171, runs a 4.55. C+ field awareness, 42.2 inch vert, A+ hands, 380 on the bench, 640 on the squat, average potential, poor discipline. Next we got Bobby Harris from DePere, Wisconsin, a center, 6 feet 305. A+ field awareness, 440 bench, 655 squat, good potential, poor discipline. And last but certainly not least, Terrell Washington from Chester, Pennsylvania, 6'2", 329 offensive tackle, A+ field awareness, 495 bench, 670 on the squat, poor potential, poor discipline, however. So those are the recruits that we got in week 2, and we'll see who we can get week 3. So week 3, we went absolutely crazy. So we have 6 here, then 7, 8, 9. We have 9 recruits to go over. So I'm gonna do this very quickly. John Brooks, Lexington, North Carolina, 5'11", 168, 5-star wide receiver, 4'28", 40, A+ field awareness, 39, 8-inch vert, A+ hands, 215 bench, 385 squat, average potential, good discipline. 5-star kicker, Alex Carter, Kearney, New Jersey, JUCO junior, B+ kick power, A- kick accuracy, average potential, poor discipline. Another 5-star kicker. This one's Derek Hill from Cary, North Carolina. A- kick power, B accuracy, 285 bench, 305 squat. Wait, why am I saying that? Those things don't matter. Average potential, poor discipline. Michael Neal, Vermilion, Ohio. A 5-star punter, number 1 in the nation to be exact. A kick power, C- kick accuracy, average potential, good discipline. 5-star halfback, Mike Parquette from Colesville, Maryland, 6'1", 227, runs a 4.37, A+ field awareness, 40.1-inch vert, A+ hands, 305 bench, 620 squat, good potential but poor discipline. 4-star athlete, Aaron Madison, West Bloomfield, Michigan, 6'3", 219, runs a 4.51, A field awareness, C- arm strength, C+ pass accuracy, 240 bench, 350 squat, average potential, good discipline. 3-star defensive tackle, Timothy Bolden from Windsor Locks, Connecticut, 6'3", 255. A- field awareness, 490 bench, 620 squat, average potential, good discipline. Paul Dunlap, Carnegie, PA, 6 feet, 236, 3-star defensive end. A+ field awareness, 380 bench, 570 squat, average potential, average discipline. Craig Hale, Hazleton, Pennsylvania, 6'1", 309, offensive guard. A+ field awareness, 505 bench, 665 squat, average potential, average discipline. Oh man, you can timestamp me in the comments, man. Oh, I went through that like crazy. Whew. All right, it's the conclusion of week 4. We're gonna see who we're gonna get really quickly. I did click the record button just a little too fast, but we're gonna rock with it. Because I'm just itching to, because there was a lot of 5 and 4 stars that came in from the low lock this week as opposed to week 3. As this is one of them right here, Marcus Hartman. The demonstration low lock. He was not a week 1, he was not in the interested pool week 1. But with low lock, we waited. We didn't see him interested until week 4. Then he liked our program prestige, and we just sent the house pretty much to get Marcus Hartman, and here we are. He's a 6', 186 halfback, the number 1 halfback in the nation. Runs a 4.37, A+ field awareness, 39.8-inch vert, A+ hands, 325 bench, 655 squat, average potential, average discipline. Matt McDaniel, from Franklin, Louisiana, 6'3", 299, offensive guard. A+ field awareness, 485 bench, 655 squat, good potential, average discipline. Scott Palmer, Streetsboro, Ohio, 6 feet, 169, corner. Runs a 4.34, B field awareness, 38.6-inch vert, C hands, 305 bench, 415 squat, good potential, poor discipline. And the last commitment for week 4, Calvin Whitmore, East Orange, New Jersey, 6'5", 271, defensive tackle. A field awareness, 455 bench, 555 squat, average potential but poor discipline. Yeah, these loading screens can be a bit of a hassle. We did get both players, which is very, very nice. We really thought Ed Green would commit to Bama, but that never happened. I mean, it makes sense. He's from Tuscaloosa, 6'1", 225, outside linebacker, runs a 4.51, A+ field awareness, 39.2 inch vert, D hands, 370 on the bench, 570 on the squat, average potential, average discipline. George James is a 2-star athlete from Huntington, New York, 6 feet, 181, runs a 4.34, C+ field awareness, 40.4 inch vert, A+ hands, 285 on the bench, 385 on the squat, average potential, average discipline. So what does that mean for our class in total? Did we get the number 1 class? We did. 10 5-star recruits, 6 4-star recruits, 8 3-stars, and 1 2-star, making a grand total of 25 recruits, which is the max. As Missouri finishes number 2, took our 4-star defensive athlete, USF, actually, with the number 12 class in the nation. We're gonna go ahead and look at their class very quickly. I've reviewed our class already. Obviously it's the #1 class, so of course I think it's gonna be good. Chris Jones starts this class off. This is one of our. We had I think like 7 or 8. I think we had 8 in-season recruits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8 is the other defensive end, I believe. Yeah, 8. So we had 8. It looks like the CPU recruited a bunch of 3-stars. Oh, we were looking at Justin Vincent actually, but we never pulled the trigger on that. I think I just ended up like, you know, taking him off our list. He ends up going to USF. Good for him. Good for him. He has good taste, I guess. I can't blame him. And now we're going to go into position changes. Now, first things first, we're going to go over the athletes here very quickly. We have a quarterback here to start off. Yeah, we got a quarterback to start off. Zach Davis, what can you play? Wide receiver, it looks like. Wide receiver it is. George James could be an 80 overall quarterback or an 80 overall wide receiver. That is very interesting. But he's naturally a 68 overall corner. So I'm going to put him over there for now. In the quarterback room, we're going to move this Travis Garrett guy. He has 74 carrying. I don't want that to go to waste. So we're going to head and move that guy over to halfback. Looks like Darius Williamson with 59 tackling. You got to move over to free safety, my boy. Or no, not free safety. You got to move over to corner or outside linebacker. We'll figure that out. Courtney Red. I think I had him move to fullback, and then we're going to cut this Carlos Moore guy. We're going to redshirt Zach Davis. Mike Carter has 52 tackling, so you already know the drill. We're going to move him over to corner. Easy. Corey McFadden is 6'4", 209. So we're going to have that size at the tight end room. We're going to move Manaki to right guard. That's cool. I'm going to have Ryan Johnson be left end, have that position stable, and then we're going to redshirt Paul Dunlap. That's fine. Ryan Smith, gonna move him over to strong safety, I think. It just makes the most sense, you feel me? Just makes the most sense. Where's our one kicker? Yeah, him. You move over to punter. Everybody else is here. Who has the highest kick power? Oh, Derek Hill has 85 kick power. But you have 87? But the accuracy is terrible. We'll have Derek Hill start with 80 accuracy. That's fine. And then we'll redshirt these two. Great. Oh, man. I think I'm just way too excited to actually play with a new team when I come back from my vacation. I don't know. I will tell you guys right now, as I do simulate the spring game right here, is Mike Carter, plus 14 overall. And we have 4 other breakthroughs. Trey Tyson, Ori Brooks, Courtney Red, and Jason Slaughter. Hey. You love to see that, man. You love to see that. Our offensive MVPs, yeah, Blake Marquardt for sure on the offense, and then Sean Robinson on the defense. Now we have to go to cut players. Oh, no. Okay, we're going to cut 79 players. All right. We're going to start off by cutting Brandon Horn. 68. Yeah, he doesn't look like... Because, look, we have these guys graduating, which leaves Parrish, Sherman, and Madison all coming back, which is great. Nobody to cut here. We're going to redshirt these two with Justice and Garrett as running backs 3 and 4. Should Greg Garcia and Brian Doucette go down, Carlos Moore's going to get cut right here. So that's 2 players off rip, right? Yeah, that's 2 players. So 7 more. Most of them are going to be from the wide receiver room. Let's see how many can we cut here. Okay, this is great. We can cut all the 82s because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So Brandon Taylor, cut. Dan Smith, cut. Right? Matt Claret, cut. And then that should be it. Yeah, that should be it. And then I can redshirt everyone. Gerald Hayes down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So I'll have 6 wide receivers. Yeah, I'm gonna cut Leon Gooden. I don't like doing that, but because I'm gonna have Alex Carter start with Derek Hill redshirting. Yeah. So how many is that now? 72? I gotta cut 2 more guys? You kidding me? So we're gonna cut. Man, which one do I cut though? One of these guys is gonna stay. So Darius Williamson. We just moved over from the offense. Matt Medlock has 48 tackling. Yeah, you gotta go, bro. You gotta go. After spring training, that's sad. That's really sad. Yeah, at least these guys are like 50s and stuff like that. Can I just cut Patrick Lewis in general? Cause 78 kick power, 78 kick accuracy is whack, and everybody else is in the 80s. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Bye, Patrick Lewis, and that's 70 total players, man. That's 70 total players. So that's our 70-man roster that you just saw. So rather than showing you guys the depth chart, since I'm going to, so I normally would show the depth chart now, but looking at the personnel that we have, I need to do something that I've never had to do before, and that's run a 3-3-5. And the reason for that is that I thought that I could convert into a 3-4, right? But I only have 3 middle linebackers here, and I want a redshirt, but however, I still want to redshirt both these defensive tackles. So I went with a 3-3-5, and now I can go to my depth chart and see how many starters I would have if I go to a 3-3-5 defense. I'll have a starting free safety, a starting strong safety. Actually, I'll have 2 strong safeties, actually. That is very interesting. Okay. And so I thought I would have 3 corners, but it turns out that I'll have a second strong safety. You want to know what's also new? Formation subs. So I'm going to divide the carries like this. So ace big, we're going to have what's it called? We're gonna have Garcia in ace and I, but shotgun, I'm actually going to have Doucette in all shotgun packages. We're going to split the ace formations. So for ace, big, and slot, we're going to have Garcia. And then Y trips and bunch, we're going to have Doucette in there. So that is going to be how the offense is going to be run. We're going to use the Penn State playbook just to, keep things fresh and everything. And then now I'm going to assign jersey numbers and then do the 1 summer training with our star wideout, our star freshman wideout. So as expected, John Brooks got all 5 of his points. So it looks like, oh Lord. You know what? Screw it. We're putting all 5 in break tackle, and he's now a 92 overall. I'm gonna go cut, or no, this is redshirt. It's not the screen, not the screen yet. So we're gonna redshirt these guys. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna redshirt Hartman and Parquette. everyone. So Mike Russell gets redshirted. Mike Rush. Gerald Hayes, Albert Speaks, Zach Davis. Then we're going to redshirt Terrell Washington. Then we're going to redshirt Greg Hale and Matt McDaniel. That's fine. Paul Dunlap gets the red shirt here. I'm in a 3-3-5. I can redshirt both these guys. Ed Green, I redshirt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. We'll redshirt these guys to make 5 corners playing. And, we'll have Derek Hill redshirt. Just makes more sense that way. So this schedule I made is, it's very Big East heavy, as you can see. The 3 best Big East teams are all in the very beginning of the episode. I mean, not episode, or the beginning of next episode, which won't be for another month or so. At Pittsburgh to start. Apparently that's a rivalry game, so gotta play that. West Virginia home. Then at USF, we're gonna go to Tampa, play our old team. That's gonna be a crazy game. Home Illinois, at Purdue, at number 5 Wisconsin, then home Michigan, but then we go to number 2 Ohio State, take on the Buckeyes at the Shoe. Then we have North Carolina home. Hopefully we can get recruits for the Michigan and North Carolina game. That's where the recruits are going to come in. Then at number 20 Iowa, then home Indiana, home Michigan State to round off the season. So preseason recruiting isn't going to be that important this year because I might just end this series after, if we accomplish all the goals that I want to. We'll see. So I'll see you guys. Alright, so this is our board. We may or may not be seeing these recruits ever. I am excited about some of them, like Kevin Allen. Like, look at this interest from Northbrook, Illinois, 6 feet 215, halfback. I think this is like a power back too. Yeah, this is a power back. He has high interest on us, and then one other player that I will shout out is this tight end. So Anthony Hart has a really high interest in us. This is a 3-star tight end from West Haven, Connecticut. Yo, shout out West Haven, man. Because Connecticut my state, believe it or not. So shout outs to him. And lastly, but certainly not least, is David Hagler. He has above average interest in us. The only team above us right now is Louisiana for this 4-star corner. 6 feet 180. That's good size. I like taller corners, and 6 feet 180, fits the billing. A- hands for a corner is also very nice, so we could see him, play 2 ways one day. Who knows? And the next time I'll be seeing y'all is after vacation, and I will be playing Pittsburgh and West Virginia as a doubleheader. A+ offense, B defense for the Nittany Lions, as Pittsburgh is a B and C+, but they are our rivals, so we'll play that game. West Virginia is an A- offense, C+ defense. USF is a B+ overall, A offense, B- defense. Those are like the 3 major ones that stand out to me. What is Michigan looking like? Michigan is a B+, A, and B-. That'll be a close game. Ohio State is A with A offense, B defense. Okay. Our 4th and final out of conference game, North Carolina. Gosh, only a B overall, B offense, C+ defense. They fell off. And then for the rivalry game versus Michigan State, B+ offense, B- defense. All right, pretty good. So the Big Ten is looking pretty challenging. And we have our Big East, foes and North Carolina. So with that, man, it's been your boy Eli the Rebel. It's been a blast, man, doing this coaching carousel up to this point, and hopefully we can finish it off here this season, man. Peace.